Hello, I'm Natalie Kunsman, MD, and today is psoriasis part 3. So, as a reminder, psoriasis is not a one-size-fits-all approach, and there are so many disciplines that have answers and approaches to fix the connection between our environment, toxicity, stress reactions on our body, and the energetic fields that are cocooning us. So I won't go into medications for psoriasis since so many of us have been heavily hit with the medications that dermatologists have to offer us. But I think we need to round out our management with or without medications. And if anybody wants a tutorial in the future about how the medications on the market work for targeting psoriasis, just let me know and I can create another show if you request it. So today is the easternmost interpretation with an infusion of energy work as it relates to psoriasis management. So I'm not an expert in this exact discipline, but I wholeheartedly subscribe to it as a 100% legitimate medical discipline. Now, Chinese medicine, which I have investigated personally for my own self, describes psoriasis as some essential disorders of blood. So one is a very common disorder of heat. And I find this to be the most descriptive of my own. And this treatment will focus on quieting heat. And I mean that literally. As I have discovered, heat and humidity make me feel worse. Plus, it took a very long time for me to realize, and I'm sure several of you, to realize that food is not just chemistry, but it quite literally will either cool or heat our systems. And this is as simple as hot peppers and, say, alcohol will literally heat up the tissue and aggravate this variation of psoriasis. And to that note, the hot baths and saunas may aggravate this type of psoriasis. So what do? We actually consider cucumbers, peppermint, cool water, cool baths in this type of psoriasis, and those lifestyles must happen to make some change for the better with the skin. In fact, a very aggressive, prolonged workout will also heat up the body and should be tempered down, including nice and calming yin yoga. And I have found this to be somewhat better than the half marathon and marathon running, which will create such heat and such stress to the body. Now, there is a blood dryness type of psoriasis, which are really the harder and thicker plaques. And in addition to that, the underlying or the base skin is dry and cracked. And some of the other symptoms that will go along with the rest of the body in a psoriatic patient that has this type of presentation may have dizziness, pallor, which is like a paleness, poor memory, and foggy thinking. So there's also a blood stasis variety that's a little bit harder to explain as far as what the skin may look like, but it is more of a stagnation descriptor about how that blood is pooling. And that's why I will many times use nattokinase to a regimen to break up blood stagnation. And some of that may make sense to you when you look at the bright redness and purple appearance to some of our lesions that just won't go away. That blood is pooled and stagnant in those lesions. Now, as we continue with Chinese medicine, acupuncture doesn't really try to tout itself as necessarily curing psoriasis, but when you go to an acupuncturist, they may actually put some of those needles surrounding the lesion to allow more qi or allow more energy flow And they describe this as surrounding the dragon. Now, acupuncture does seem very effective at lowering stress, which is a key component to a contributor to psoriasis, and it can actually improve the itching quality. Pranic healing. Again, I'm not an expert in this, but definitely a subscriber to its belief system. And this will actually use life force, and it may look at the back solar plexus, the liver and front and back heart chakra, some of the basic chakra, the minor chakras of the hands and the legs. It may include the front and the back spleen, the navel chakra, throat chakra, forehead, and use this strategy to properly cleanse our energetic fields and energize the energetic fields. And that's in an effort to not only just treat the psoriasis, but get the body to heal itself. Now, Reiki, interestingly, believes that the virus, or a virus, let's say, can attack several parts of the body due to these blocked energy centers. So it will work on these energy centers in an effort to work on any viral contribution. And I don't know about any of others in the audience, but I notice in particular, I am not a post-strep psoriasis aggravation, but I am a post-viral illness aggravation. And don't forget, psoriasis has been attributed to a T-cell irregularity, and viruses are predominantly governed by T-cells, and mine intensifies after that. So I do believe there is something to the Reiki interpretation of at least one contributor to a psoriasis flare. Now, the principles also in energetic medicine are looking to clear and create a clean atmosphere and a space so that the environment that you live in may actually quiet the stresses of the surroundings to the skin if these strategies are applied, versus allowing the atmosphere and space you live in to be aggravating to the skin. So the clean atmosphere is truly implying clean air, clean water, clearing of infections, and no excessive EMF or energetic fields. So we can also talk about intentions, affirmations, quieting stress, meditations, and frequencies to balance the body, and also allowing some right frequencies or low frequency healing to calm and aid in sleep, which is absolutely mandatory if the body is going to do any version of healing. Let's not forget environmental toxins, and they can be measured or they can be assumed and implied for those of us with psoriasis. Now, another Eastern topic in the energetic arena is the concept of meridians. And there are 12 predominant meridians, which are basically pathways. And again, I am not an expert in this, and I think there are several people in the audience who are experts in this, and I would love for them to give opinions in the comments below. But for instance, in us psoriatic patients, again, with the concept of heating up too much, our triple warmers may be in overdrive and may need some balancing. And for instance, the lung meridian governs our skin health. And there are ways to evaluate these meridians and to treat this system. And the system needs to be in a balance, in a yin-yang harmonious existence. So I'm not sure how many of you have involved any of this work in your healing, but I would love to know if you have included that in your regimen and what results you have gotten this far. So we cannot forget that Eastern medicine has very deep roots in the herbal remedies. Now, of course, there are plenty out there, but I want to focus on several that are their key players. And some of their topical approaches include neem oil or sea buckthorn oil. Now, neem leaf can also be taken internally. Again, Chinese herbs are the mainstream of their treatment. And again, think of it as mainstream in their treatment arena, and we are considering it alternative. So I want to go through just a few, and I will probably be butchering up the Chinese pronunciation, but the first one is Qian Chao Jin. And this is an herb that is believed to have some blood cooling, which we were talking about in the beginning. And it will have some anti-proliferative properties. And again, don't forget, in psoriasis, we have a tendency to regenerate our skin way too fast, and that it will pile up and leave large plaques. And this herb can prevent the formation of the psoriatic plaques. There is also Qingdao, and this is the indigo naturalis that I referred to in a previous lecture. And this is also proposed to have a lot of that heat clearing property and also an anti-inflammatory effects. There is the Shet Diwa, which is the root of the Chinese foxglove. And this is one of the more common ones in traditional Chinese medicine. And again, we've been talking about blood heat, and this also has some blood cooling properties. And there is also some pain relief by it working on the wind dampness. There have been some studies with this particular herb, and it is noticing that at the skin level, there is more glutathione being manufactured, and that is one of our antioxidants used for a lot of anti-aging properties. There is another one, Washi Cow, and this is a plant that's known in the West as like a snake needle grass. Again, it is used for blood cooling, and it is potent for the blood cooling. So when traditional Western treatments and food management isn't enough, we should really think to incorporate some long-standing, ancient, yet new principles to help our bodies heal. Again, I'm Natalie Kunsman, MD. Subscribe to my channel below, and until we meet again, be well.